Hello everyone, welcome to Geospatial World. Even though the conversations on climate change have muted due to the geopolitical situation, trade disruptions, greater defense and intelligence spending, and shift in key policies, the negative effects of climate are being faced all over the world. This, however, does not signal that we have stopped working towards a positive climate action. To highlight and discuss an important aspect of urban heat mapping, we have with us Mr. Urmil Bakhai, who is a business leader with over 22 years of experience turning early stage ideas into market leading organizations. He began his career at companies like IBM India and Wipro, where he managed multi-million dollar client portfolios and led regional business operation across India's infrastructure and technology sectors. In 2017, he joined Amnex Info Technologies as its first professional sales hire. Over the next several years, he built the sales function from the ground up and helped grow the company's revenue from 25 crore to over 250 crore, while expanding its reach into international market. Today, Urmil serves as Chief Strategy Officer at Satlio Labs, where he is helping shape the long-term direction of the company's satellite and thermal data business, driving partnerships, exploring new markets, and positioning the organization at the forefront of the evolving space industry. Welcome to Geospatial World, Mr. Urmil.
Thank you. Thanks, Sachin, a lot for having me here.
Mr. Urmil, we'll dive into the first question. Can you please tell us about Satlio Labs?
Yeah, so Satlio Labs is a space tech company. We build thermal Earth observation satellites. Our three satellites, which are right now, for us for development is Tapas One, Tapas Two, and Pyro. That is the name picture of our satellites, and an analytics platform that's called Inside Hub. So, in simple terms, we turn heat data from space into decisions on ground. So for cities, agriculture and forest fire monitoring. So we are currently the only Indian company in dedicated thermal earth observation space.
That's really interesting, Mr. Rumil. And this also, I believe, helps in climate change action. And since climate change is being witnessed at a scale like never before, with the European nations recording deaths due to historic high temperatures, India, a relatively warmer country, is facing an even bigger challenge of containing this heat from turning into a calamity. Given this backdrop, Satlio Labs recently mapped the urban heat risk in Ahmedabad at a hyperlocal level. What were the findings, and who is the most vulnerable?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. A very interesting question, Sachin. So, what the major finding here is like, the heat in city isn't uniform, right? Our mapping showed some wards in Ahmedabad run several degrees hotter than others. Same city but very different risk, and those hotter pockets overlay directly with dense, low-income neighborhoods. So the people facing the highest heat are outdoor workers, the elderly, the informal settlements. Exactly the people with the least means to cope up with the heat. So by having the heat map of a city, it shows in the same city what are the different risks, and especially what the urban planners need to do for the people who has least means to cope up with the heat.
And Mr. Umil, you mentioned that the communities that are exposed to these risks are outdoor workers, elderly residents, and low-income neighborhoods, who are really the ones with the loudest voices in climate or city planning. How is Satlio Labs trying to close this gap?
So as I told you, what we are doing is, no, we are basically turning the cities and the urban planners shift from reacting to predicting, right? So with our thermal data, no, the urban planners, the municipal corporation, the municipal health workers can actually act, and not react, right? Act proactively and not only react. For example, when we started giving, what we do is we give twice a week, and almost 3 days in advance a predictable data of cities' most hotspots, like no most hottest vulnerable areas. By doing this, they can actually take very informed decisions regarding where to open up more water points, where to have more increased shelter, where to inform the nearby hospitals that the chances of people affecting of heat strokes are higher, and save lives by just being more proactive. And this data is a gold mine for the health workers, because when you really have very specific interventions rather than a blanket intervention across the city, a specific intervention will always be more effective in saving lives. And this year, no it, there, it is a finding of the Ahmedabad municipal authorities themselves, that by using this data they could save more lives and less number of people dying from heat stroke this season.
That's really interesting, Mr. Rumil. And I believe my next question, you've already answered that in a way that we're now seeing that in Ahmedabad, the municipalities are now issuing heat advisories up to 3 days in advance. And this really helps the planners pinpoint exactly which neighborhood need the intervention the most. I wanted to ask you, how does satellite data help local authorities in better decision making? So you've already touched on it before. So can you please elaborate a bit further?
Yeah, so what we did was, our so since we are a space tech company, our objective is to help how the space data can help the citizens by and human habitats in at large, right? So space data is just not about planetary observations and getting into Mars, or getting into understanding the other planets. It is also about how can we be more proactive in terms of either avoiding natural disasters, predicting natural disasters, or predicting the kind of heat which is getting generated. So what we do is, we since our satellite missions are already in pipeline, which will give more and more high resolution data sets. What we do is, through our AI and ML platform, we combine various available satellite data sets and get into a more AI based informed data sets for the citizens as well as to the authorities. So what they get is, they get each ward wise temperature information, differential temperature information, and that is just turning the entire planning authorities, it's a much more informed data point for them to plan for the city, as well as planning for how to cope up with the rising heat during peak summer. The same urban heat island, kind of a platform, turns into a forest fire prediction platform for forest department, right? When you start understanding the specific temperature hotspots, again this if you see, one of the most vulnerable data point for a forest fire is temperature, rising temperature, right? So when you are able to proactively and predictively identify certain thresholds of temperature, you will be able to predict the occurrence of the forest fire, and then combined with other data sets, you can actually see what are the extent of damage this forest fire can, and if not curtailed, or if curtailed at this moment, the kind of the saving in terms of the overall infrastructure the forest department can save is immense.
It rightfully said, Mr. Rundle. And coming from technology to governance, does the urban heat situation signal towards a governance gap, since the heat response gap cannot be solely fixed by technology and would need stringent policies that enable preparedness rather than reactiveness?
Yeah, honestly, yes. Data can tell you exactly where the risk is, but turning that into protection, heat action plans, or like giving a for example, a labor safeguard policy, or what are the cooling mandates a government has to implement. That's a policy job, right? So technology and governance need to move together. One without the other won't fix. Just by providing the data and with no actionable in terms of the policy or in terms of governance, it does not happen. And we really saw this live with Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. I mean, we give this data twice every week. But when this data gets percolated down to the citizens and to the health workers, as a like every week they used to have a meeting with the commissioner, and the health workers need to give a presentation to the commissioner. How did this data help them to mitigate certain areas by saving lives and increasing the water points and stuff like that, right? So that framework of implementation and the governance is very, very important. And it goes hand in hand actually.
Absolutely. Now we're seeing that there is a glaring overlap between climate adaptation and disaster preparedness. From the climate change perspective, what role does Satlio Labs plan to play in the longer run?
So we want to be an early warning layer, okay, for both climate adaptation and disaster response. Okay, the same thermal data, as I told you, the same thermal lens can track urban heat hotspots as well as forest fire and crop stress, early in the game for agriculture ecosystem as well. So our long-term goal is simple: help India move from reacting to disasters to actually anticipating them. Right. So that is where we see a very clear role of Satlio, where we want to give early warning signals to either and I'll extend not only to climate, or our use case also extend it to defense as well, right? So it is whether it is defense or an or a civilian use cases like agriculture, disaster response, and urban heat. This layer is going to turn into a predictive and a early warning layer for any authority.
Thank you so much, Mr. Urmil, for your time. It was really nice knowing what kind of work Satlio Labs is doing in climate, and I hope that Satlio does achieve its goal in the near future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sachin. Thanks for the time.